Hello, welcome back to Going Walkabout. Today's episode, we're back at Flutter again, and we're going to look at Flutter and rich text. In the previous two episodes, I worked on my iOS and push notifications, and that inspired me to do this episode. Because in the notification list on iOS, we have rich text. We have, let's say, a text box with different types of text in it. So it is one sentence where a part of the sentence is made bold. I'll show you it here on the simulator. Now here the original iOS app is running and you can see there's a notification. There's bold, posted in, bold and something. So this is a string combined of multiple pieces of text with different attributes. There's also a little marker that it is not read yet, and there's an icon of the user, and we have the timestamp. So I wanted to replicate this in Flutter. Now in iOS I would use an attributed string, and the word is already saying it. It's a string with attributes. So you can assign attributes to part of the string. In Flutter I had no idea how to do that. So a little bit of searching led to the point that I need to use a rich text widget for that. And that's what I'll show you now how I implemented that. Here we're back in the code. I will not show you how I created the block to retrieve the notifications because that is the same as the block I built earlier for the trips. If you're interested to learn more about that, leave a comment below. But for now, I assume you know how to retrieve your data. I will focus on the actual view, the list that I created with the rich text inside. Now that all starts here in my notifications view. The notifications view uses a stream builder because I work with blocks and everything is based on a stream. And here it says I need to be able to refresh it, so we show the refresh indicator, and that has a child but is a separate, what is a simple list view with separators in it. Now I built the separator, I say string grab, I say the item count is the amount of data with the length I have, and then I'm building my items. The first thing I do is I create my message style because I need that style and I need to add additional attributes at a later stage to create the bold. So I get my theme style, and this is the normal body 1 style that I'm using here. And then for each list item I create a container with the white background to mimic the white background that we saw in the iOS app. I use a list style and I adjust the content padding to get the right formatting, but that might be different in your implementation, of course. I have a leading in which I put a column with a container with a 3030 round user image in there. I use my user image class that I explained when I was working on the caching, a little bit of a spacer in height, and then below that a container with a 12 to 12 round color, what will be the indicator for the red marks. Now you see I always set it to my brand color. That is actually not yet red. I didn't put the logic in yet to make it go on and off in terms of reading because I was mainly focusing on the layout here. Now here, this is the interesting part. I have the column for the title because it is a list style that has a leading, a title and a trailing. And inside the title I put a column, and in the column I start with my rich text widget. And the rich text widget has text that consists of a text span with in that children of a text span. And this is how I can compose it. So I set on the first text span the message style. That is the basic message style that we defined above, is our normal body 1 font. And then I continue with setting the username, and I use the message style, copy it with the font white bold so it becomes bold. I use a text span with posted in, and this way I build up the whole string to show. And I get the result that we also, what will be simulated in the result in iOS. So let's look at that first, and then I'll give you a little bit of overthought of the things that I liked and I didn't like on that. To show that. Now here in the end I have a little padding and I put the date with my date text control that I'll cover maybe in a later episode, is not relevant for this one. So I will get the simulator here, and it's running here in the Android simulator, and you see I have my image, I have the red marker that is always on red at the moment, and I have nicely bold text posted in, bold text and the hello to and the date here. So this way I can build the text very similar to the text you saw earlier in the iOS version, and if you put them next to each other, they're pretty much the same. But it doesn't have to be 100% the same. It is about the idea and the way it looks, and that is fine in this particular scenario. Now, the only disadvantage of this approach is that I here, back in my code, start composing the text from various text fragments. And that makes it very difficult to do this in multiple languages. The current sentence, as you see here in the command, is user posted in trip semicolon a post. And in my iOS solution, I actually had this piece of text as a localized string with placeholders. And the way it works with an attributed text, I can then use that placeholder string and insert the pieces of text with the correct format. So if someone would localize this string and because of the language would change the order of the words, what happens in various languages, it would be no problem because it would still work. In this scenario here, I am stuck with the certain order of the fields. Now, of course, I could go and invent something very complicated to make a placeholder text that I can then parse and build the text span objects out of the text span widget out of it, etc. Would make it quite complex. So that is a disadvantage of what I have seen here so far and of this approach. For my particular scenario and the localizations that I'm currently supporting, it's not a problem. So I stick to this. It looks nice and it is very easy to implement. So that is a big bonus as well. It was something that I initially thought it might be a little bit difficult to achieve in Flutter, but it was actually quite easy to do, and I'm happy with the results, so that's a good thing. Now, I hope you like this. I hope you learned something. If you like the video, please like and subscribe, and maybe you can also pay some love to my social media accounts for the whole app and the whole project. And if you didn't like the video, wait for the next one because it might be better for you. I'll thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.